Hi, I'm Angie. I want to welcome you to National Indoor RV Centers, where we specialize in the sales, storage, service, and detailing of only high-end new and used coaches. So basically, we do it all. Today, I'm super excited to show you the 2018 Newmar London Aire. Now, one of the things that I love that Newmar does is that for each of its models, it's got 11, from Baystar Sport to the King Aire, they each have unique and distinctive front and end caps and graphics. Another thing that Newmar does is you'll notice that you can't see either windshield wiper. So they're tucked nicely behind the front cap. I like this for two reasons. First of all, aesthetically, it looks beautiful. And second of all, you're not going to be driving from Iowa to Dallas and have a gust of wind take off your driver's windshield wipers. Trust me, it's happened to me. In a minute, I'm going to tell you another reason that Newmar does its front cap this way. Also, while we're here, I want you to notice that this is the panel for the CMS, the collision mitigation system, which I'll demonstrate during the test drive, but that's the camera for that. Then I want you to look at the beautiful windshield. One of the great things about RVing, you're driving down the road, you have this great windshield to look through, but Newmar installs theirs just like the automotive industry installs their windshield. They're bonded, they're not mounted in a rubber gasket like you see on an entry-level gas coach. As you can see on this more basic coach, the windshield is mounted inside this rubber gasket, not nearly as aesthetically pleasing as it is on Newmar's diesel coaches. Here we have our beautiful chrome exterior mirrors. They are internally controlled, heated, and you have your turn signal, your camera so you can see down each side of the coach. This also has diamond shield, so we have diamond shield across the whole front cap, protecting it from bugs and keeping your paint looking beautiful. You're probably wondering what I've got in my hand here. This is a new feature that they've added that's kind of fun for 2018. So now they've given you an option for a flagpole. So you can put your family crest in there, or America's favorite team's flag, the Cowboys, or you can put National Indoor RV's flag in there so that everyone knows you're part of our family. Now I want to talk to you and show you a little about the great steps that are on the London Aire. They're hydraulic HWH steps. So when they come out, if I'm standing right here, it hits my leg, it's going to sense that and stop the step. So they have a sensor on the front and on the bottom of the step. So say if there's a curb and it hits the curb, it's going to stop there too. So let me demonstrate. They hit my leg, it stops. I'm going to show you one more time. So it's coming out, it hits the curb from below, and it stops as well. Now, another thing with the steps, I know I'm always in a hurry, so as the steps are coming out, I'm tempted, I might have done it once or twice before, to jump on the step before it's all the way extended and go into my coach or come out of my coach. They're not built to have weight on them like that when they're coming in or out. So make sure they come all the way out before you use them. Newmar only uses the best paint. So they have full masterpiece finish paint. They use BASF paint, which you'll see on BMW, Lamborghini, Mercedes. And then on this coach here, we have 2 base coats. Then they put on 3 coats of the skin. The skin is the color that you see the most of. So 3 coats on the skin. Then you have 2 coats on each color thereafter. Then they use 3 coats of clear, and they have a 2-stage cut and buff process. And cut and buff is basically when they sand and buff between stages. So when you run your hands down this paint, you're not going to feel any transition. It's just really, you know, Newmar does paint better than anyone else. Also, I want to note that Newmar is celebrating its 50 years of manufacturing RVs. So they were some of the innovators in the RV industry. They were first to do slide outs. They were the first to have comfort drive. Lots of other firsts, but another celebrating year for them. All right, when you're building a house, what is the most important part? It's the foundation. Well, the same goes for an RV. So the foundation of the London Aire is the Spartan K3 chassis. Spartan has been building chassis specifically for the RV industry for 30 years, and they were the first to put in independent front suspension, the side radiator, and the passive steer tag. Now, Newmar added to the great Spartan chassis by adding the super steel structure of the Star foundation. So that's a strong, true, and robust foundation. I'm going to show you a little bit of that as we get into the basement area. Here we have the Alcoa Durabright aluminum wheels. So those are really nice because you don't have to polish those. Then we have the Michelin 365 tires on the front, 315 on the rear. Now 365, those are the biggest tires that you can get on an RV. I always thought that it meant they were getting bigger around, but it actually just means that the tire is wider, so you're going to have a smoother, quieter ride. We also have the frameless tinted dual pane windows throughout, and we have the power Girard awnings. Go ahead and extend both of those. They have the Nova pitch as well, so you get a little extra shade with that. Once they're out, I'll demonstrate. You've got a little button here, just light, and you're going to turn on the lights on the awnings. These do have a wind sensor on them, so if it's too windy, they will retract back into the coach. I will show you how these work when we get inside, but all of the window awnings are powered as well. A lot of our competitors in this same class have manual window awnings, so this is really nice. When we get inside, I'll show you where the buttons are to operate your window awnings. I also want you to notice that we have a very small tolerance here. We have flush mounted slides. This is a big deal because when you have that lip when you're trying to hide, where your slide goes in, it's going to catch the wind and you're going to have more wind noise. So this is a big deal. You also want to take your extender slides when you're at ride height. So extend your slides when you're at ride height, jacks down. Do the same thing in reverse when you're ready to leave. Jacks up, slides in. Here's our fuel fill for our 150-gallon fuel tank. You can fill this from both sides of the coach, so it's dual fill. So if I am filling from both sides of the tank, I can fill up this 150-gallon fuel tank as quick as I can fill up my car. Most manufacturers have an exposed rubber hose that leads to the fuel tank. And where is that? It's right behind your tire here. Why would that be a problem? It's not protected. So if you have a blowout, you could easily sever that hose or any road debris. So Newmar has a steel welded metal plate that protects the hose as it goes to the fuel tank. I know we've already talked about Newmar's fabulous paint job, but another thing they do better than anyone else is, I know it sounds silly, but their caulking is bar none the best. I don't know if you've ever tried to do it yourself. I have, and it was a mess. So when I look at what a beautiful job they do, I'm just super impressed. We also have our first of our two docking lights on the passenger side and our marker lights. Now the docking lights are super important. As you're pulling into a campground at night, I'm telling you, those rocks and picnic tables, they can jump out and grab you. So those docking lights are really going to protect your coach as you're backing into a spot. Then we have our nice awning out, so shouldn't we be watching a game or something on TV? Here we have our exterior TV. Newmar uses all Sony products. We have our 40-inch TV here, and it comes out so you can direct it wherever the sun glare is not going to hit it. And we also have a little switch, so we can go from TV here to radio, and we have the Bose sound bar. All right, so we've got our awning out, our TV. Now before I go to the baggage compartment here, I want you to notice where this is hitting me. I've got heels on, it's hitting me right at chest level. So these baggage compartments are huge. They are taller than most competitors, 3 inches taller. Look how big that space is. Now we've got our Dometic freezer. which we can make that a freezer or a refrigerator. So if you're tailgating, you just want drinks, you can set it that temperature. You want to carry meat and ice cream, you can change the temperature to make it a freezer. Here we have our first of our 2 pass-through storage trays. So they're powered. Simply push the button. You've got something big and heavy that you need to take out. You can simply lift this lip and then slide that right out. As I'm moving to the next door, I want you to notice the beautiful stainless steel trim that we have all along the bottom of the London Aire. The chrome baggage doors. So these are going to protect if we had, sometimes the painted one will get a little bit chipped. Same with the bottom of our doors. So those are protecting our beautiful paint job. Again, we have our power pass-through tray. Again, this extends both directions. While we're down here, we can see the framework of the Star Foundation. Again, that's that super steel structure that Newmar adds to their chassis to give it more rigidity so that this suspension does all the work. You may be wondering what the color of this beautiful coach is. Well, at National Indoor RV Centers, we customize most of our paint colors. So this is a custom paint color. Also notice here, we have a camera. That's part of the 360 camera, that this coach has cameras 360 around it. And I'll show you that more when we're on our test drive. We also have the security light. And then here, we have our large storage tray. This isn't powered. You're going to actually have to use your muscles, but they pull that out, but it's a nice big tray. You can also see that we have the filter for our central vacuum here. Here we have the tile heat controller, and this is our bedroom slide out control. This is part of our Girard awning. We have a 110 outlet, and again, a huge storage space. And here is our pegboard, so we can put our tools, we can hang those up in here. We can also carry extra fluids, oils, whatever you may need in this little compartment. Here we have our marker lights, our second docking light, and then I want you to note the tires here again. This is our passive steer tag axle. Now, I know it sounds silly, but this is the way I remember it. So this one looks different from this one. This looks exactly like our front axle. So I kind of think of them like belly buttons. These are outies, this is the innies. So our 2 outies match each other. The passive steer tag will turn in tandem with your front axle when you're turning, when you're under 20 miles per hour. Here's our DEF fill. We can fill this from both sides of the coach. Another thing to think about or remember with the DEF is that it has an expiration. So when you buy it at Walmart, make sure you check the expiration, or if you know you're going to be staying at a campground for a 6 months period, 6 months at a time, you may not want to fill it all the way full. These engines are becoming more computer-like, and I'd hate to have you go to a service center just to get a DEF engine check service just because your DEF is bad. Last but not least, we have our chassis batteries here, and behind this panel we have the fuse box for the back half of the chassis. So if you have a tail light out, anything like that, the fuse for that will be right behind this box. Then we have our battery disconnect. So if we're not lucky enough to have you as one of our customers, either in Dallas or Atlanta, where we store 300 coaches indoors and keep you plugged in to 50 amp service all the time, when you go to store your coach, you're going to want to make sure you cut off all power to your batteries. Here we have our air dryer. This needs to be serviced at 20,000 miles. And here is our primary fuel filter and water separator. You need to replace this at 10,000 miles. And this is our governor for our engine air compressor. This doesn't need to be maintained, but for those do-it-yourselfers that think that you might have an air leak and you don't want to keep your engine running the whole time, you can simply take that little cap off and connect an air hose to this and find out where you may have a leak. I want you to notice how Newmar attaches the slide topper to the side of the coach. A lot of their competitors attach the slide topper to the end of the slide and then it sags. And you have water, snow, whatever that will collect in there. I also want you to notice on this coach here that the slide topper is connected to the end of the slide room. So that you see how the slide topper sags? You don't have that on Newmar. Girard on its slide topper has the little brushes. So as the slide topper comes in, it brushes off all the debris on the slide topper. So this year, instead of the 600 horsepower engine, we have this 605 Cummins turbo-powered diesel engine. Voila! Newmar again has made this again. It's more serviceable. With the with the side radiator, it's very easy to get to your engine and all these different things that we need to service. So starting here, we have our coolant and antifreeze fill, and you can look at that little knob. You want to make sure that's always full. This is our hydraulic oil for our power steering and our hydraulic fan. This is a quick air connect. So you have a huge air compressor with your engine here. You can fill up your tires from here. If you want to get there faster, go to the inside of your coach and pump the brakes. Probably wondering why you need to pump the brakes. They're air brakes. When you pump them, it's going to turn on the air compressor and make that go faster. Speaking of air, this year, 2018, Spartan added an auxiliary air compressor. So if you feel like you've got a leak in one of your bags, it's going to automatically fill that and bring you back to level. Then we have our oil engine fill here and our dipstick there, so we can test to make sure we don't need to add oil to our engine. This is our engine block heater. If you need to use this, remember, this is a coach. It has wheels, and you need to go further south. Then we have our transmission fill and dipstick here. Here's our Oasis fluid here. So this is, again, very easy to get to. And we have our air filter. Now our air filter should be checked every 10,000 miles. And typically you want to change that every other oil change. We have a little air filter minder back here. When that's red, you definitely want to check it, but typically, like I said, you want to check it every year, every 10,000 miles, and usually change it every other oil change. All right, I want you to notice that we have a camera here. That's part of our 360 camera, and then the camera higher, which is the camera for our tow vehicle and our rear camera. We also have our auxiliary brake hookups here, and then we have our hookups for our lights and turn signals on our tow. Here's our hitch. This is a 20,000-pound hitch, so that means that you can tow your Chevy Suburban or your Jeep Grand Cherokee, or you can tow them both together in a stacker trailer. You're not going to fill them behind you with a 605 horsepower engine. Then we have our camera connector for our stacker trailer. Here we are at the side radiator. Now again, I told you that Spartan was the first to do the side radiator in a coach. So there's 3 advantages to the side radiator. First of all, serviceability, which I already showed you when we were at the engine compartment. Makes it very easy to get to that compartment. Secondly, it takes in the ambient air to cool the radiator fan. Instead of the engine air can be anywhere from 150 to 180 degrees coming off the engine that's cooling the radiator fan and all the debris that kicks up. So it has to work a lot harder. Why is that a big deal? It takes 35 horsepower to run the radiator fan. So if it's working less hard because it's bringing in cooler air, you're going to have more horsepower. Now we have our emergency egress door. This they added last year, but they've even pumped it up a little bit this year because we actually have a ladder, and I'll show you that when we get inside. Last year you had to either stand on top of the potty and jump out. This year you've got a nice grab bar and a ladder, so they've really improved this. Here's our DEF fill from the driver's side. Then Newmar has done a nice job. They've locked up our stinky slinky hose. So we've got a little key to that. We have our docking lights, our marker lights, and this is the exhaust for our Oasis. Here we are at the wet bay compartment, so you can see that it's lit. We've got a place for our paper towels, our levels of our tanks here. We have our sewage rinse. I'll give you a little bit more information about this. Your freshwater tank is fairly long and flat, and then it's got two little divots where it sits up in the chassis rails, and this sewer rinse is at one end of the tank, and you've got to get all your waste to the other end of the tank. So there is a rinse, but you still want to be careful about how much toilet paper you put in there, and it absorbs all that water to get it through. You have your RV SantaCon switch here, and your city water auto override. We have the water filter for the entire coach, and here we have our SantaCon, our stinky slinky hose, and this is our third SantaCon system. If you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you can manually bypass this and just do a gravity dump. And we have our hot and cold shower here, and we have our auto water reel hose. Newmar wet bay compartment is heated, and the thermistor is down under here. It's controlled by your midship heat. And we also, I want you to know, Newmar is the only one that puts this plastic container in here. So any water or debris that runs off in here, it catches here. It doesn't go into your subfloor. And then they provided a nice little drain so that if you do get water in there, you can easily drain that out. Here we have our 50-foot, 50-amp shore power cord. This is on an electric reel. So, if you've ever wrestled with one of these, you'll know how important that power reel is. A lot of people will hold like a washcloth as they pull that in and just wash it off as it goes into their coach. Here we are at National Indoor RV Center's campground in Lewisville, Texas. So I wanted to have a little lesson here. First of all, when we come down here, we're going to see that we have two legs. One leg for 50 amps, second leg for 50 amps. So we have 100 amps of power here. When we plug in, now this is where we plug in. We have one leg here, second leg here, our ground, and our neutral. Now during the hot summer months, a lot of you will plug in 50 amp service, you go into your coach, there's a big draw on the electricity because you turn on your air conditioning and all of a sudden the air conditioner goes off and everyone thinks they've got a problem with their coach. So before you make a call to National Indoor RV Center, go out and double check that the problem isn't here at the plug. If I were to take this cover off, there's just two brass prongs there, and overuse over time those loosen up and you don't have a good connection here at the outlet. So you just want to make sure if you go in, turn your generator on and your air conditioner unit starts up, the problem's here at the plug, not in your coach. Here we have our Surge Guard RV power protection, so that basically this is going to make sure that you don't fry your coach. It's going to monitor the power coming into your coach. This is your 30 amp plug, and then most campgrounds have free cable, so if you don't want to use your HD satellite, you can just hook in right here. Here is our Oasis hydronic heating module. So this is how we get our on-demand hot water for the coach. It also provides the furnace for the coach once we drop below 40 degrees. Your heat pumps and your AC units can't keep up, so then you would turn on your furnace here. Our camera for a 360 camera, and our security light. Here is our powered pass-through tray, our large one. And then we have our second powered pass-through tray. We've got our tool kit here for our central vac, and Newmar always sends you with extra tiles just in case you ever need those. Here we have our 8 house batteries. These are really nice. You can easily get to them. Now these are AGM batteries, so you really don't have to do anything with them. Hopefully you want to come to National Indoor RV Centers and buy a new coach before you have to change out your batteries. Now notice when I close this door that it raises. So it's on a little slipper hinge here. All the doors on the driver's side of the coach. So when your slides out, it gives you more clearance, and it also gives you extra height in your storage area. Here we have our marker lights, our docking lights, the fuel fill for the driver's side of the coach, and again, you're going to be able to look in here and see where that steel welded plate is to protect the fuel hose. This is the exhaust for the generator here. They give us a little squeegee, which is nice. You're going to need it to clean that big windshield. Behind this panel we have all the fuses for the front end of the chassis. So if you happen to have your seat's not working inside the coach, then you come out here and you'd find fuse 23 and replace that fuse. I love how Newmar nicely labels everything for you. Also, they've given us spare fuses this year, so this is huge. No more plastic baggies with fuses in them, or the fuses, you know, scattered about in your bays here. They've got them right here for you. That's really nice. Then right here, as long as you've got your key in accessory mode, you can simply hit this button right here, and you're going to extend your generator. Remember that I told you that Newmar designed their front cap this way for specific reasons? Again, think about serviceability. So their competitor, if you extend the generator, it just is a little box in the front of the front cap that extends. The whole cap extends, so it's not just to hide or protect the windshield wipers. Actually, you can get right inside here. Here are our air horns. And then back here we've got the wussy horn. We have our emergency suspension fill exhaust panel. We have our hot water line to the generator, so you can hook up a hose here, turn this on when you get to the campground, and you can wash off the front cap and windshield with hot water. Those bugs are going to come off a lot easier that way. Then we have our quick connect line here, so we can fill up our tires or our footballs, you know, whatever we need help with here. This is the oil filter for the Oasis. So we have the coolant for the Oasis in the very rear engine compartment of the coach. The fuel filter is here. Here we have our 12.5 Onan generator. So this gives you plenty of power to run your 3 ACs, your microwave, your stove, whatever. You shouldn't trip a breaker, but if you happen to, this is where you would have to reset the breaker on your generator. You also have your generator hours right here, and then you can start the generator from here as well. All right, before we leave this 12,500 watt monster of a generator, I want to show you guys one more thing that y'all are going to love. So, for you seasoned RVers that do-it-yourselfers, can you remember crawling underneath the generator to get to your oil filter and your fill and your coolant? Right now, you just remove that panel. Here's your filter. You can change that right there. Your oil right here, and your coolant right there. So they've just made it super accessible because the whole thing comes out. Over here on the passenger side, we have the HWH hydraulic system for our full wall slide, our exterior steps, and our jacks. And right down here is the Dextron 3 transmission fluid for the HWH system. So what is this water dripping out at the bottom of the coach? Well, it's condensation from the air conditioning unit. Now Newmar does mounts their air conditioning unit different than any other manufacturer. All the other manufacturers put their air conditioning unit on top of a pan. So the condensation runs into the pan. Well, say it's raining and you've got the condensation and that water runs over, you may have water coming into your coach. Newmar mounts their air conditioning units right on top of the roof. The condensation runs off the roof to the gutters. They have gutters that run all the way along the top of the roof. And then the water runs down through the gutter into the internal gutter here and out the bottom. Now, if you ever happen to see water running down the side of the coach, you'll know that you've got some debris clogging your gutter. So all you have to do is get an air check, go to the internal gutter here, shoot the air up there, dislodge the debris, and your water will continue going down the internal gutters. So you're never going to have those unsightly stains running down the side of your beautiful coach. All right, it's just about time to go inside. So we've got 3 ways that we can get into our coach. Obviously, we can use the key. We can use the key fob where we can lock, unlock. We can also lock and unlock the cargo area. So that's great. You don't have to go around and individually lock each door. And then we can set our own code here so that you can let service repair people in, your grandkids. So that makes it very convenient. You shouldn't get locked out of your own coach. Let's go inside. Right when I get inside, I've got 2 great grab bars here, so it's very safe. First of all, we've got our great steps that I talked about earlier, but see how low they go to the ground? So you're never having to heave yourself up into the coach. And then we've got the grab bars, and then right as we walk in, we're going to have our battery disconnect button, so we can hit that on, and we can turn on the lights to the coach, and we've also got the lock and unlock for our baggage doors. All right. Let's go over and talk about all of this here. First of all, look at the beautiful cabinetry that we have in the London Aire. This is the new wood that is called the Bermuda glazed wood, and it's very nice. Something new they added this year. We've got storage here, storage there, little teeny storage compartment here, and then probably the most important cabinet in the whole coach. This is kind of our command center here. So starting up top, we have our Winegard Travelers satellite. This is our HD open face satellite, so we get HD when we're in the campground. This is our another controller for our Girard awnings and the lights on the awning. This is our over-the-air antenna, so I just would turn that on. It's going to search for local stations and lock onto those for me here. Then each button here, we have the driver side window awning, passenger side window awning, our driver's security light, passenger security light, driver privacy drape, front privacy drape, door privacy drape, and passenger privacy drape, the entry door awning light, and the entry door awning. That's the easy part. Now let's go over and let's talk about our Silverleaf system. So this is sort of the command center of the coach. So we're at home right now. I'm going to push our AC power. We've got 2 legs, and we've got 24 amps coming in on one leg and 28 coming in on another leg. So we're always talking about 50 amp service. That's really an RVer's term. If you were to bring an electrician into this coach, they would see that you have 50 amps coming in off one leg, 50 amps coming off another leg. That gives you 100 amps of service coming into the coach whenever you're plugged into shore power or using your generator. Okay, so we have 100 amps coming into this coach. It's going to come into the basement where our inverter is located. It's going to pass current through, come up here to the Silverleaf system, and charge the batteries as necessary, or as needed. And you can see now that we're on an absorbed charge. We also have the gen set. So this is where our auto gen start is. You can start and stop it. You can also set it so at a certain temperature or a certain voltage, when your batteries start to run low, your generator will automatically kick on, charge your batteries as needed, and then turn off once they are charged. Let's talk about an extremely important component of the coach that a lot of people take for granted, but it's the inverter. So what does the inverter do? The inverter converts AC to DC and DC to AC. That's alternating current to direct current and vice versa. It passes current through and it charges the batteries as necessary. When you come in, when you look at the house battery and the chassis battery, and there's a little lightning bolt there, it lets you know that you've got a bridge charge. And these numbers should always be within 2/10 of each other. So come into your coach, turn on your Silverleaf, give it about 5 minutes to warm up. If they're not within 2/10 of each other, then you may have a charging issue. We have our water, our fresh gray and black tank levels here. These are digital readouts, so they're much more accurate. We can also turn on our water pump on and off from here, and our autofill. Climate, so we can do the living room, kitchen, bath and bed, cool and heat, and you can set that for auto. Also, here is where you can turn on your Oasis. And then we have our floor heat. Right underneath the tile, we have 4 to 5 inch square electric heat mats with copper wire running through them. It heats the floor instantly, and if there's ever a problem, we can find the mat that's bad and take up just the tile above the mat to replace just that mat. With radiant heated floors by hot water running through them, you have hot and cold spots. It takes longer to heat up, and it's more difficult to diagnose and repair a problem. Also, you have to run your aqua hot if you're doing heating your floor that way, which is using your diesel. So the electric heat is much more efficient. All right, we have the driver's side slide out, which is the huge full wall slide. Then we have the passenger slide out, exterior LED lights, exterior entry step. So this is where you can lock your entry step. Once you're at a campground, you're going to want to lock it so it doesn't go in and out every time you open your door. This is your Wi-Fi router switch and your optional satellite system switch. So if you have an in-motion satellite as well as the HD. This is the Omniscope. So a technician can plug his laptop into this and troubleshoot the Silverleaf system. So we have 2 control centers for the Silverleaf system. Unlike some other systems where there's only 1 panel and there's no ability to troubleshoot, you can do that here. All right, moving on, we have our huge 40-inch Sony TV. More storage here. Here's a new feature that they've added in 2018. It's a WineGuard cellular, and you can use this as it's a Wi-Fi extender, and you can use it as a hotspot for your coach if you've subscribed to the service. And then a little bit more storage here. So I've turned the captain's chairs around to make more of a home living room area here. And one of the things I love about this is with the flip of a switch here, I have my recliner. The co-captain's chair reclines, has a power footrest as well. And then we've got our 2 recliners here. So we actually have 4 recliners in this coach. Now we opted this coach with the 2 recliners, which is very popular. So across from it, we have the fold and tumble bed with an air mattress. And I'll demonstrate that for you later. We also have our lighting system. This is a multiplex lighting system. So when I walk into the coach, I hit the top 2 buttons. That will illuminate the pathway through the center of the coach. And when I hit the bottom 2 buttons, it will turn all the lights off. Here's the first of our 4 thermistors. So the thermistors, you have one in the living room, one in the kitchen, master bedroom, and master bath. They work with the thermostat to regulate the temperature and keep it nice and cool. We also have, it's getting to be evening, so I want to put my nightshades down. Here we are in the beautiful living room of the London Aire. This interior package is the Stratus interior. Of course, National Indoor has made a few little tweaks, and we've specialed a lot of the items in this coach. You also notice, again, the beautiful Bermuda glazed wood. And when I go into this cabinet here, this is where our audio-visual equipment will be. So we have our DVD player. This is where you'll also put your receiver for Dish or Direct TV. And you'll notice this header that's inside the cabinets. Everyone's wondering why they don't give us that space for storage. The header is either, between 4 to 6 inches with angled support, and you've got it running all along the full wall slide. So it just gives you more support for your home. We also have the Bose soundbar for the living room. And I don't want you to forget, we have the beautiful TV, which they changed in 2018. They put the control for the TV lift over here where you're sitting watching the TV, and then voila, here comes your TV up over there. This is the 48-inch LED Sony TV. Notice that we have the beautiful villa furniture throughout. Beautiful polished tile floors. And then from the floors to the ceiling, we're going to look at these beautiful ceiling treatments. Now, I want you to notice, Newmar does this uniquely as well. You're not going to see any air conditioning vents running along the ceiling, being unsightly. Everything is underneath these beautiful ceiling panels, so you just simply pull down the panel and you can change your filters. And when you have your slides in, your AC is still fully exposed, so it's very easy to heat or cool this coach with the slides in or out. One of the questions I always get asked is how much room is there in the coach once your slides are in? So I brought in all slides, and you can see that I can easily get to my kitchen. I can be preparing food here for the family. We could be sitting in the booth comfortably. I get into all my cabinets, the refrigerator, and my freezer. And I can fully get into the pantry. I can even extend the shelves almost to their full extension, so I can reach anything in here that I need. And then we have the handleless door here, so we don't catch our pockets on it, and I can easily get into the bathroom. The recliners have become a huge hit, mainly because they are so comfortable. So sit down, push them forward. Now I just have to try to stay awake. All right, we have tons of space in this gorgeous kitchen. First of all, notice the beautiful solid surface countertops. We have great sink covers for our beautiful, it's double sink here, big stainless steel. We have nice, beautiful residential faucets. And they've given us tons of storage. I also want you to notice while you're looking at the cabinets that you don't see all the styles are hidden. If you're wondering what a style is, it's a framework that the cabinets are mounted to. So you just see they do a beautiful job. Love the pull-out shelves. Then we have our Whirlpool microwave convection oven. And then this is a really cool thing that Newmar does. So first of all, you've got cutting boards on the back of your recessed stove cover, which I love that, or stove top. And then if you want, you can take out your induction cooktop, unplug it, plug it in outside from your coach, and you can cook, your onions or fish or bacon, because it's going to be greasy and messy. You can do that all outside if you want. Then we have another huge drawer here, and we have our dishwasher. Now, I really love this. If you know me, you know that I hate when you walk into a coach, if the first thing you see is a garbage can. So they've given us a spot for our garbage on a nice pull-out shelf. And then another huge shelf here. And I don't want to forget the nice drawers that we have. Full extension, tons of storage. You also want to note the LED lighting that's underneath all the cabinets. Just makes it really pretty, and you can turn off the main lights and just have that lit. It's very, very nice. We also have the fantastic fan, and this is just simply snaps down that cover if you need to change it or get to it, and they just do a nice job of keeping everything very beautiful. We also, this coach we optioned in with the Euro booth. Now I love the booth, it's very comfortable, and you can see that there's lots of space here, good amount of space on your table as well. And I also think they're super comfortable. If someone's cooking dinner, I may just sit here and watch them, keep them company. This booth does expand, so you can pull the table. We've got 2 leaves we can add here, and then we can also put the folding chairs here as well. So you can easily sit 4 or more people at this table. Nice storage underneath both of our booths. And a few little more cupboards here. Again, I know it's a small space, but I'll find something to put in there, I promise you. Here is our second thermistor in the kitchen area. Then we have our residential refrigerator, freezer. We have an ice maker there. And then we have our wonderful pantry. Now I just love the pantry on this coach. So we have full extension drawers here. They're adjustable, you can make them whatever height. And when you open the door, the pantry's lit. So you can see everything that you've got in there. Now moving on to our half bath. I love these new handles. So it seems like whenever I've got jeans on, whatever, I'm going through the coach when the slides are in, I catch my jeans on the handle. So I love that you just push those, go into the pivot door into your half bathroom. You have a great medicine cabinet here with outlets, so you can, you know, your curling irons, everything can stay right inside those. Then we have a little storage room here, but we also have our house fuse panel in here and our breakers. So all the fuses are nicely labeled, and again, they've given us spare fuses. You'll notice the beautiful solid surface countertop again, the sink, and then we've got our toilet paper holder that's behind the cabinet, which is nice. And we've got our central vac and our dustpan. So you can just sweep everything into the half bath, hit the button, and it all disappears. All right, moving into the beautiful master bedroom. Let's go ahead and give us some privacy here. Look at these beautiful solid panel doors. We have our 40-inch Sony TV. In a lot of other coaches, you don't get a 40-inch TV in your bedroom. Lots of nice storage. Again, our DVD player where we would put our second receiver if we had one for directed or dish TV. And we have our second silver leaf panel here. So we can control everything that we did up front. We can do it from right here in the master bedroom. And right here, we have the awning for the window on the driver's side of the coach, the power awning. And we have tons of great storage. Nice, deep drawers, lots of space. While I'm down here, I want you to note that this year in 2018, Newmar added the electric floor heat in the bedroom slide out room. So this is also going to have electric floor heat as well as your bathroom. A lot of the other manufacturers that use radiant heat do not have floor heat in their master bathroom. Then we have the beautiful king size bed, and this is a sleep number bed. Also, as we lift up the bed, we have great storage. We can keep our extra folding chairs here, but look at all that space. And again, you'll notice LED lighting along the bottom of the bed. We have nightstands on both sides of the bed. Each has 110 outlets and USB charging outlets. And we have controls underneath the bed. So we can control our lights, our shades, the speakers, reading lights. It's just very easy and beautiful. We can also turn off the main lights and just have our accent lights on. I also want you to notice how Newmar backlights its valances. So it just makes this such a beautiful room. It does it through the living room, throughout the whole coach. Then I also want you to notice just the finishing touches here. You have crown molding throughout this whole coach too. The whole living room, the whole bedroom, and the whole bath, or most of the bathroom. And then stepping into our master bathroom, we have the beautiful 40 by 32 inch shower. This is, a lot of the other brands have only a 36 inch shower. So again, this is 40 by 32. We've got the cathedral ceiling, so that gives us extra height here. We no longer just have to have the skylight so that taller people can take a shower. I've got my heels on. You can see there's still plenty of room here. And then we have the fold down shower seat. So that's really nice. If you want to shave your legs, you can simply sit down, or if you want the extra space, just keep it folded up. And then the beautiful faucets here, a place to put our soap and our shampoo. I love that. It's just the little details. They think of everything. The owners of Newmar, Pam and Matt Miller, they actually take a Dutch stove out every year and use it, live in it a little bit, and then they give suggestions. So I think that's some of the reasons that Newmar thinks of just the little details. Place to hold your towels here. And then in this plan, this is the 4553. We get a little bit smaller shower. There's actually a bigger shower in one of the other floor plans, but you get this linen closet. So if you need extra storage space, this might be the floor plan for you. Then we have our Whirlpool washer and dryer. Cedar lined closets. Lots of space here to fold items and put in there. Our recessed shoe holder. And then we've got our safe. 2 more bars that we can hang items from. And this is a huge feature. Now I talked about this a little bit when we were on the outside. This is our emergency egress door. So we only have access to the handles from this from the inside of the coach. And if I needed to, I can take this whole valance right off. I can just pull it off, pop it back on. But we want to go ahead and go out here. Say there's an emergency. I'm going to lift my blinds up. 1 second. I love the day shades too. I love how it has some texture to it. Just makes it that much prettier. So I'm going to open the door. You can see we have a nice grab bar here. When I open the door, on the bottom of the door, there's a magnetic panel. So I simply just pop that off. You can see the magnets there. And then my ladder is exposed. I'm just going to take the Velcro off, open the door all the way, pop the ladder out, and telescopes down. And I can easily get out of this coach. The 4553 comes with this beautiful solid surface countertop, the double sinks. Again, notice the beautiful light fixtures. So here in the bathroom and then throughout the rest of the coach, they have nice glass sconces. And again, we have our outlet here. Nice full extension drawers. Tons of storage, and I love that they give us these little cubbies so I can put stuff there as well. All right, we're in the campground and I want to level the coach. So I'm going to stay for a couple nights this time, so I want to put down my hydraulic levelers, my hydraulic jacks. So I'm going to use my HWH hydraulic jacks, and I'm going to push. We're in travel mode right now, and it's also showing that we are leaning to the passenger side and the rear of the coach by those yellow buttons. Now I'm going to go ahead and push the auto level. You can hear the air going out of the coach. We have a button here for excessive slope. If that was illuminated, it would let me know that we were on an excessive slope and we would not be able to level, so we'd be wasting our time. And then we have a button here for not in park mode, so if I didn't have the coach in park. I also had to turn my key to accessory mode to have this start working. You can hear the jacks right now. Say I'm just pulling into a Walmart parking lot. I'm not all the way to my destination and we're just going to spend the night. I don't need to put my hydraulic jacks down, so I just want to use my air leveling. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push the SLS button, searching for a level slope. So I'm going to hit that. So the green arrows mean side to side that we're level, but front to back we're not level. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my set button and hold. Now that they're solid green, side to side and front to back, I'm level, and all I need to do is just turn off my ignition, and that will lock the valves so that the wheel stay level. Say I'm traveling along, I get home and I've got a steep driveway. I feel like I need to raise the coach so that I don't scrub the front end or the back end. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to push the raise button, hold it, and I can actually get this coach to raise about 3 inches. Now say I get up into the driveway and now I need to get into my garage, but it's a little bit of a tight fit. So I need to lower the coach now. So I would hit the lower button and hold. And you can lower the coach about 4 inches. So you have about a 7-inch swing. You can go up and down. Here we have our 6-speed Allison transmission. We have reverse, neutral, and drive. Here we have our tag dump, auto, disable, and manual. Basically, we're going to keep this in auto all the time. With our passive steer tag, we're not really going to worry about this and say, unless we're like stuck in mud and we need to get extra traction, then we would probably turn our traction control override off here, and we'd also want to dump the air out of our tag so that we can get more weight on the drive axle so we can get more traction. Then we have our engine brake on and off. Like I said earlier, I always like that on, and then you have 3 levels, high, medium, and low, and our ATC override. Here we have our 2 drink holders, so that's always nice to have 2 of them. And then this is a huge button right here. This is our power toll window. A lot of these coaches have manual windows, and this is powered, so simply hit the button. Easy as that. Here we have the switch for our internally controlled exterior mirrors and the defrost button for them. We have our lights, our brights and our dim. This is our fog lights and our dome lights. This is the monitor for our collision mitigation system, and then our parking brake. And down here we have our battery boost button. Think of your worst case scenario. Say you forgot to turn your inverter on and your batteries are died, or you've left lights on, you come back and your coach is dead. So what do? You're going to take any remaining charge that's left in your house battery and any remaining charge that's left in your chassis batteries, and you want to combine them together so that you can get enough power to start your generator. Start your generator, let that run for a few minutes until you have enough amperage that you can turn on your inverters and then start charging your batteries. Next to battery boost, we have the air horn. Then we have the beautiful leather steering column. We have our courtesy lights, our cruise control, our windshield wipers. So here, I showed you how to turn on the cruise, set, resume, and cancel. This is our courtesy light. Say we have a trucker that's passed us and he wants to move into the lane in front of us. We just flash this light one time to let him know that it's safe for him to move in. And say we just passed a trucker and we want to let them know, or he flashes his light to let us know it's safe to move back into our lane, and then we would hit this courtesy light 3 times, 1, 2, 3, to say thank you. So here we have the windshield wipers, so we obviously just have on and off, high and low. And then we have this button here. So this is our intermittent interval button. So I'm going to hit this, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit it again, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can have them come on for as long or for at any interval that I would like. So here's the Spartan Command Center. This is going to show you your engine hours and your odometer. So this is showing me my PSI level. Then this is going to go through the warnings. No warnings. Diagnostics. Active. Our self-test. So you're going to be able to auto self-test. Here we have readings for our front and rear air, our volt, our DEF level, and our fuel level, our miles per hour, our RPMs, our oil, and our temperature. Here's our silver leaf. So this button here is going to determine what we see over here. One of 3 backgrounds. Our house. So I can turn my water pump on from here, my autofill on up from here. I can set my generator from here. I can see my AC power. So you can see now that the load shedding is enabled, genset enabled, current phase is dual. Load shedding is inactive, genset is settling. This is our generator. So I'm going to scroll through here. See that we've got our top off voltage, or our auto charger volt is at 11.5. We really want that to be at 12. So I'm going to go down, select that. And move that up to 12. And then I want my top off voltage at 13. When the batteries drop down to 12, it's going to automatically turn on the generator to charge them. When they get up to 13, it's going to turn off. And then I'm going to top off my runtime. I'm going to set that to 1 hour or 60 minutes. Here we have our thermostat button. So I can control all AC units, heat and AC, from right here at the front of the coach. So I can set the temperature and I can turn them on and off. And the fan speed, so that's pretty cool. We have our chassis button. That gives us a chance for trouble flag. So if we've had a check engine light, we can troubleshoot here from this screen. Here we have our trip button. Now this is cool. It tells you miles to go, kind of the same thing that our GPS will do nowadays, but this is a really cool part down here. So you can put in, it lets you know how many gallons you've used. So if I started with 150 gallons, I've used 100 and now I'm at the fuel station, I want to fill up. I can watch this really closely. I know that once I get close to 100 gallons outside, I'm going to go very slowly so I don't have fuel spilling out all over the coach and all over me. Here's our front fan, our overhead fans, high, medium, low. Obviously our ignition here, our comfort drive knob, which I've demonstrated, the pedals, so those move forward and backwards, our docking lights, courtesy lights. We can start our generator from here, our 360 camera select, you can see all the way around our coach, our visor to the side, to the driver's side, visor, front visor, our front shade, the passenger visor, and the entry lock. Then we have our AC and heat control here. Here in this compartment we have our 2 USB ports and 2 12-volt. So we can just lay our phone in here and charge it up. And then we have our HDMI cable here. Here I am in the passenger seat. Now I've turned it this way so that you can see the controls over on the right side of the chair. Here we have the lever so that I can unlock the chair and spin it. Then I have the heated seat button, so I have high and low and off in the center. And then I have the lumbar support button. The controls on my left side, we have forward and backwards, forward tilt and rear tilt. Again, the lever so that I can turn the chair. And then my favorite button, because I want to relax while we're going down the road, is the footrest. So I'm all cozy now. I'm going to bring out my little desk here. We've got the controls inside the handle for our armrests. So you just move that little flap and then pull the lever to adjust your armrest. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the step cover out so that when I get out of my chair, I don't accidentally fall in the stairwell. I have controls for my patio lights, my map lights, ceiling lights, my shade, and the cargo lights. And I've got a drink holder, and right behind me here I have 2 USB outlets and 110. Another compartment, they give us another place for storage. You just turn that little knob and we keep our maps or phone, whatever we want, right up front. One of the reasons I love driving Newmars is because they have Comfort Drive. They're the only RV that comes with Comfort Drive. So Comfort Drive does a couple things. First of all, it's a computer-aided driving assist. So if I'm going down the road and there's a huge wind, crosswind, normally you'd be fighting your steering wheel. The computer's going to feel that wind. It's going to adjust for it. So you're simply just going to be keeping the coach going straight down the road. You're not going to be fighting the steering at all. The other thing that it does, also if there's a camber to the road, it's going to feel that and adjust for that as well. So again, most of my customers that when they come from another brand to Newmar, they say that they can drive a lot longer with less tension because the Comfort Drive just does a lot of the work for them. Another huge feature is that the steering always returns back to center. So I've got my Comfort Drive dial here on 1. I'm going to take my pinky finger and I'm literally going to turn the wheel all the way to the right, and then when I let go, it will return back to center. This is huge for a couple reasons. First of all, if I've gotten myself straight and I'm ready to back into a parking space, I can literally let go of the wheel and I'm going to go straight back. Also, when I'm ready to camp, especially for new RVers, you want to make sure your tires are always straight so that as the air suspension drops on the coach, your tires are straight and you don't end up blowing out some of the fiberglass on your sidewalls. All right, I'm ready to park, but I'm a little bit crooked, so I'm going to pull up and get myself straight against the center line here in the parking lot. Once I get lined up, I'm going to let go of the steering wheel. I should go straight back now. If I'm driving down the highway, then I typically like to have a stiffer feel to my steering wheel, so I'll turn it up to a 5. But you can see where you like it. All right, I'm super excited to drive this 2018 London Aire, so let's get comfortable. First thing I want to do, I want to bring my steering wheel column down. So there's a lever here to the left. I'm just going to push that with my left foot. Then this is too far for me to reach, so I'm just going to push the button here and bring that pedal forward until it's a comfortable spot for me to drive. I'm all about safety, so I'm going to push down on the brake first, then I'm going to release my parking brake. You're going to hear a beep and it's telling me that I'm in neutral, park brake is not set, and then I'm going to press drive, beep goes away, and we're ready to go. All right, let's hit the road. All right, we're ready to pull out into the road here. If you're new to RVing and first time driving a coach, one of the main things you have to realize is that your tires are not in front of you like they are in your car. They're behind you. So before you get in the coach, make sure you check and see where your turning point is. So I looked before I got in the London Aire, and they're basically, the center point of my tires are right at this slide room. So I want to wait till that slide room is right at the curb, or what I don't want to hit. And that's when I start my turn. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to pull out further than I'm comfortable with, and then I'm going to start my turn. And then I can just watch in my bottom mirror my back tires, and I can see that I'm going to easily clear the curb. Then you just get comfortable in your lane. And another thing they always told me when I first started driving was to hug the center lane or the left lane here, so you can easily, in your bottom mirrors, I can see that I'm in my lane comfortably, and you can just eye those mirrors. Your mirrors are your saving grace in a coach. You're gonna find that this coach is a dream to drive. I'm literally just sitting here, keeping it in my lane. It's as easy or easier to drive than my Toyota Sequoia. It has a lot more safety features and a lot more things to help me. Again, one of those things being comfort drive. So now that I'm on the freeway, I like to turn it up to 5 to keep a nice stiff steering wheel. So that's just where I'm comfortable. And literally, it's quiet, it's comfy. I've got this huge windshield in front of me. It's just really enjoyable. All right, one of the things that I like to do with my customers when I take them on a test drive in a Newmar is to show them how quiet these coaches are. So I have my handy dandy little decibel reader here, and right now inside the coach I have the engine on, and note I'm right next to a freeway and I have cars passing me. I have the generator running. The reading that I get for inside the coach is 72.4, or that's the average inside car decibel reading. I'm going to go ahead and get back on the freeway, and I'm going to give you the reading while we're going down the road. All right, so now that we're driving down the freeway, I'm going 70 miles per hour, and I want to take that decibel reading again. And we are at 81.2, so it's moved 1 dot. We're still within the average automobile noise level. And again, I'm on the freeway, engine's running, generator's running, 3 roof ACs and the dash AC. And I can talk to the person next to me. I don't have to yell. Just a nice, quiet riding, easy to drive coach. So even driving this 45-foot bus, it's still within the same decibel reading as the average car. It's a whole lot quieter than the average city bus. The London Aire comes standard with electronic stability control. So what that is, if I'm driving down the freeway and all of a sudden there's something in my lane and I've got to swerve quickly to avoid it, and the coach senses that it's unstable, it's going to take the gas pedal away from me and apply the appropriate brake until it feels that it's stable again. So it's another safety feature. This coach also comes with, we've opted in the collision mitigation system. So when I'm using my cruise control, it's going to monitor the cars in front of me and make sure I keep a safe distance. Now, the Department of Transportation has determined that for a coach this size, 45 feet long, and for its weight, that the safe following distance is 3.6 seconds behind the car in front of me. So it's going to make sure that I keep that distance. So if a car pulls in front of me and it's too close, it will depress the brake as necessary. Once that car is safely in front of me, it will go back to the same cruise speed that I had set. The nice thing is, in your side view mirrors, you've got a camera on both sides. So when I put on my left turn signal, I'm going to get a shot in my camera down the full left side of the coach. I can see that I've got cars there. It's not safe for me to get over. And then another really nice feature, once I am able to change lanes here, I'm going to get into the center lane, turn off my signal. Now, if I look down at my camera, we've opted in for the 360 camera. So I can see what's on both sides of me and in front and behind me. So just another great feature on this London Aire. We're at a stop right now, but when I'm driving, I always keep my engine brake on high. So as soon as I take my foot off the gas, the coach is going to actively start braking for me. Basically, we have 605 horsepower pushing us forward. With the engine brake on high, I have 600 horsepower pushing me back when I go to stop. So with this big and heavy of a coach, I want to have all the help I can get. Now, I know that I'm driving a 45-foot coach, but everyone around me tends to think that this is like a sports car and I can stop on a dime. So along with always driving with my engine brake on high so that I can stop quickly, I also like to always make sure I have my air horn on. And so you don't scare your cameraman, that's the wussy horn. That's kind of what it sounds like in my car. You want to make sure they know you're coming. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you found it interesting, maybe learned something new. And if there's something you'd like me to cover that I haven't covered, pick up the phone and let us know. We would love to hear from you. If you like this coach, if you want to see what other floor plans and other coaches that we have available, come and see us at National Indoor RV Centers. We have 3 locations, Dallas, Atlanta, and Phoenix. If you'd like to see more of these kind of videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. Have a great day.